Good morning, everyone. Hello. Sam, hello, Mark, Angela, Priyanka. It's so good to see so many familiar faces already in the chat. Early Monday morning for me here in sunny Sacramento. It might be some other time for you, but time-appropriate salutations to everyone who is joining me this morning. My name is Voodoo Val, and I'm going to be your host for week 2 of the Photoshop Daily Creative Challenge. I'm so pumped. Are you guys excited? Hey, Sam. Hey, Jordan. Jacob, Peter, Ram. It's good to see all you guys. All right, so real quick. Before all of you folks dive into the challenge, because I know there's a lot of people in there today who are already familiar with what we're doing, but just in case you're new here to Adobe Live for the first time, or you're new to one of our Daily Creative Challenge segments, what I'm going to do real quick is show you the Daily Creative Challenge page where you can learn a little bit more about what we're doing. We're going to check out the Discord, and then we're going to jump into today's challenge. So right quick, I'm going to pop over here to, this is behance.net/challenge/Photoshop. And this is basically where you can get all of the information you need for the challenge that we're doing today. If you scroll down here, it gives you some information about how to essentially get the show going. Tells you that you'll be receiving a challenge here every morning. As you can see, we've got a image filter challenge going on today, which I'm very pumped about. I can't wait to share this with you. And we've also got some links on here on how you can join our Discord community. You can either click the join the community chat button here in step 2 of how does it work, or you can scroll all the way down to the bottom and hit join us, which will prompt you to open Discord. And if you're brand new to Photoshop, you never used Photoshop before, or maybe you did a long time ago, but haven't installed it in a while, or you're just looking to kind of brush up, kind of shape those chops, those Photoshop chops all over again, you can click the download Photoshop button under the Get Adobe Photoshop section there. Hello, Marissa. Hello, Lam. It's good to see you. All right, so without further ado, let me pull up the Discord real quick to kind of show you guys what you folks will be jumping into. Here is Discord. Here is the Photoshop Discord. And basically what this is an awesome community full of all of the super cool folks who join us for our daily creative challenges and more throughout the weeks that we do Adobe Live. It's a place where you can jump in, share your challenge entries with me, with the community, with the mentors that we have here at Adobe, get some feedback on your challenge entries, make some design friends, all that good stuff. So I hope that you folks will join that. I'm definitely going to be in the Discord as I have been for the last week, kind of giving people feedback. And talking about their challenge entries, as well as you can see Sam Peterson's in there, Tim Mobest is in there, and so many of our other Adobe friends are waiting to sort of help you guys out if you need any pointers. Hello, Valdair. Welcome back. Richard, hello. Watched the sessions again over the weekend. Noticed it was never expressed what phrase to use for discoverability. Oh, okay. Hold on. When we get to our upload process, I will go through and use the hashtag and everything. I'll make sure to do that this time. All right. So we're going to jump into today's challenge, which is going to be creating a glitchy portrait. So those of you guys who are fans of like Mr. Robot and all those cool, like glitchy, like kind of future, well, I guess not future, but like hacky, cool action type movies and TV shows, this is the challenge for you. So right quick, I'm going to pull up my Photoshop. And you can either start a brand new file here, like I have, by just going to File and New. Or you can, if you already have an image that you'd like to work with like I do, you can just double click your image or do File, Open, and open your image. I'm actually going to go over here and just open up this cool picture of this pretty nifty gal here. And what I'm going to do is sort of isolate her from the background there, because I don't want to be working with the background white that is all around her for this cool glitch effect that we're going to do. So I'm going to unlock this background. I'm just going to real quickly grab over here on the top corner over here. You can click the quick selection tool or magic wand tool, or you can press W on your keyboard. I'm going to just grab the quick selection tool. And then I am going to just select her real quick right out of the canvas. You can do this a little cleaner if you want, especially depending on the image that you're using. I, however, am just going to do it pretty simply, because we're gonna like make like a super cool glitchy effect, like I said, and so the small teeny tiny details won't really matter that much. So real quick, I'm gonna right click, I'm going to say select inverse, which basically inverts the selection that you've done, which is super cool. And I'm going to hit Control J or Command J if you're working on a Mac. And this basically has, if I hide this bottom layer, it's basically duplicated her only out of the background. So we only have her on a layer and not the white background there. I'm going to right click this layer, and I'm going to convert to Smart Object, and I'm going to double click here, and I'm going to call this layer Girl, just so that I remember, because when the layers are really small like that, sometimes I can't tell if it has a background or not. All right, so my next step is I'm gonna add a cool glitch effect in the filters. And this is how we're gonna do it. I'm gonna press F actually here to kind of bring us into our larger view here. I'm gonna go up to Filter, and I'm gonna hit Distort. And then I'm going to go down here to Wave. And Wave is super cool because, as you can see here in a little preview window, it's kind of making the image all wiggly and crazy and strange. But we're going to come over here to Type on our right side of our Wave filter here. And we're going to hit Square. And then I'll leave it up to you guys how you want to kind of change your filters in here. It's all up to you. Kind of what you would like to do. There's a lot of different transformations that you can kind of achieve with these filters. You can make it a little wider. You can make it more like a checkerboard instead of like just like slices in the image. Very cool. So I'll let you guys kind of figure out what exactly you are going to do with that. I'm going to bump that scale down on the bottom, and I'm going to say that that is okay, just like that. And I'm going to hit OK. And so that basically does like this super cool I guess, slice glitch wave effect to our image. And I'm going to go ahead and do that another time because even though this is cool, it doesn't really look like a glitch effect. It mostly looks like exactly what the distort filter was called, which is just like a very harsh kind of sharp wave. So we're going to do this wave effect one more time. You can do it as many times as you like to your photo, whatever you prefer. I'm going to come up here to Filter and Distort and Wave once more. And I'm going to do this all over again. I think I'm going to bump that like that. I'm going to bump this a little wider like so. I am going to move this just slightly like that. Maybe throw that over like this. And that's pretty cool. That looks pretty good. Maybe like make it just a little bit wider. All right, let's see. Yeah, that looks really crazy. It's very, very strange, but I think it looks super cool. And I'm even going to, just to separate her from the background there, since our image is kind of cut up and sliced up, I'm gonna come over to our very background layer, layer 0 here. I'm gonna go Control-Shift-N to make a new layer. I'm gonna call this white, simply. And I'm going to grab our paint bucket tool, the handy dandy paint bucket tool that we've been using, or G on your keyboard. I'm going to come over here to my color panel and make sure I'm selected on a white color, and I'm going to paint bucket white in there just to keep that separate there, so you can't see the other image through it. All right, so now that we have that, that's pretty crazy, pretty spooky. If you want to, you can actually, let's see, you could actually use your marquee tool, rectangular marquee tool, and kind of hack pieces apart if you want to, just to make it like a little more glitchy. I'm kind of good with this, so I'm going to leave it like that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this. And I'm going to come over here to Image, Adjustments, Gradient Map, and I'm going to actually make this kind of like a red color here. So I'm going to come over here, I'm going to grab this, I'm going to bump this into red, like so, and I'm going to hit OK and OK. because we're going to give it kind of that blue-red, like 3D glasses kind of effect too, because it's not enough just to kind of hack a picture apart. We're going to need to make it look even creepier, even cooler than that. So now that I have this gradient map like applied as a red, I'm actually going to go Control-T, like so, and I'm going to bump it over just slightly like that and hit enter. And then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to put this on a darken blending mode. And you guys can scroll through here and find any other blending modes that you guys prefer. I'm looking for an effect that will apply that red in a strange way. Honestly, this lighter color also looks super cool, but I want to apply this red version of her in a way that allows me to see pieces of the colored version underneath her, while also applying that red to the white background behind her. So I'm going to hit darken, and then I'm going to duplicate the girl layer again. In fact, before I do that, I'm going to call this girl red. We're going to do it again, but we're going to make it blue. So I'm going to select my girl layer here. I am going to Control J to duplicate, or Command J if you're on a Mac. And I'm going to come up to Image, Adjustments, and I'm going to say Gradient Map all over again. I'm going to click this so that I can edit it. I'm going to come over here to the right-hand side, double-click that, bump it up to a blue. That looks pretty good. I'm going to hit OK, OK, OK. And then now I have a blue version, and I'm going to call this girl blue. Like so. And then I'm going to Control T to sort of transform that, Command T if you're on a Mac. And I'm going to bump that over just slightly and hit OK. And now we have like this weird sort of spread out of red and blue. And I'm going to put this on a darken layer as well, because I just think it looks cool. But now then we've got like this blue and this red, and it looks kind of messy. So we're going to clean this up, and we're going to kind of bring the likeness of that woman back out into this piece. So first of all, I'm going to make sure that I've selected my blue and red layers by holding Shift and clicking that other layer that I want there. I'm going to go Control G to group, Command G. I'm going to double click this, and I'm going to call this colors. Boom, just like that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually reorder some of my my layers here. I'm going to drag this colors down to the bottom so that our girl is sort of on the top like that. And I am going to experiment with blending modes with this girl layer that is on the top here. And you can kind of go through and choose one that you like. I actually really like this lighten one because it makes her just like a little bit brighter and kind of blends in with all the super bright colors there. So we kind of have those interesting primary colors, the blue and the yellow and the red going in there in the middle. So I might actually leave it on lighten, which is pretty neat. And then because I want to add more of her face so that you can really see her in the middle there, I'm going to come down to this bottom layer here, and I am going to select parts of her face and chest and waist. And I will just, for the sake of showing you folks that, I'm going to hide what I've done under here so you can see what I'm selecting. I'm going to grab, part of her face here. I'm going to grab like a long part of the chest, and then I'm even going to grab a part of the waist here. You can even grab like a piece of the arm if you want, whatever you think is best. I'm going to say Control J, which basically duplicates those pieces of her, and I'm going to bump that up to the very top, and then I'm going to show all of this. So now I have her in there. And just like I mentioned before with like the marquee, you can kind of come in here and I'm going to select a bunch of pieces out of her face and body here. And I'm going to kind of manually add some interesting glitch all on my own, just to kind of change everything up a little bit. Because I don't want it, like as cool as this looks, I don't really want it to look like there's just big blocks of the image in there. So I'm just going to select out some pieces here. That looks pretty good. So I'm gonna go Control X, which cuts out like that. And then I'm even gonna come in here and I'm gonna grab like her eyes and her mouth maybe. And I'm gonna Control T, and I'm going to use my arrow keys to kind of bump things over just to skew stuff a little bit. I might even grab like part of the nose there and do Command T and skew that over so then her face is a little different in there like that, and bump things around. And I might even grab like a larger section of the chest here and move it like way over. You know, and you can kind of do this to taste. Do this however you want. Maybe you just like having a section of the face that's kind of thrown in there on top. Maybe you don't want to edit stuff like this, but I think that it looks much better and kind of blends things in if we have missing pieces to go off of like that. So you can still see what she looks like. You can still see some of the blue and stuff behind her. And then now you kind of get to play around a little bit with maybe textures or blending modes or whatever you want. You guys can edit the opacity of some of the layers that you have going on. Like I think I actually kind of want to come into my colors here and maybe bump the red and blue in towards her frame a little bit more and maybe change the opacity. So I'm going to select this girl red. I'm going to hit Control T. I'm going to bump that in just a little bit. And you'll notice that because I turned that into a smart object at first, right off the bat, and then duplicated, it returns into this like clean version of her. Which is really cool. So I don't have to worry about ruining that image totally and completely. I can just go and hide those effects if I don't like exactly what I did. You might even like to differentiate the size and ratio of things if you want. So I might actually make her larger and kind of squish it down a little bit and put that behind and see if that gives us a little more variation. I think it does. I think it looks pretty neat. I might put her like that. That looks pretty cool. And then I might do the same with the blue. Maybe I'll hold Shift and make her thinner and taller and put that back there. That looks pretty cool. So everything is glitchy and crazy. And then I'm going to select the whole group and I'm going to bring the opacity down on that just a little bit, just a teeny tiny bit, because I think that looks pretty cool. And again, you guys can kind of do this however you want, because maybe you want a little more of that glitch effect. Maybe what I'm doing here is a little much for you. It depends on what your preference. But I think that looks pretty cool. And then what I'm going to do actually is I'm going to add like a cool texture to this, because I think it would be even cooler to make it look less clean than what we have here. So I've got this interesting texture here that's almost like kind of a glitchy texture on its own that I'm going to throw in here. And I'm going to make sure it's on the very, very top. I'm going to drag that up there. And then I'm going to experiment with blend modes here, just kind of coming through and previewing everything that is available to me. I think what I'll probably end up on is like overlay or soft light, because that looks pretty cool. Let's see. Yeah, that overlay looks pretty neat. And it adds like that interesting texture over the top there. And I might even change the opacity down just a tad bit. I think that looks neat. You know, I think it looks pretty cool. You could even put, let's see, we could duplicate this and we could even put this in the background here. Maybe take it off of overlay and put that in like that, just to give like a texture in the back. Kind of makes it look creepy and glitchy and futuristic. And then you can even experiment with some text. Like maybe I just want to write something here, like click in here, and maybe we'll write in caps, glitch out. I don't know, something cool. I'm gonna select all of this and I'm gonna change it to like that sharp red, because that looked pretty neat. I'm gonna put this on top, and maybe we'll turn it sideways. We're gonna try to get edgy with it, guys. Let's be edgy. So we'll turn it like that. Bring it down just a little bit. I'm gonna put it on the side here. Boom. And then we'll crop it for good measure. So I'm going to hit my C key. I'm going to bring everything in like so. You guys can play with rule of thirds or kind of crop this to taste, however you guys think is neat. I'm gonna do mine like that because I think that looks pretty neat. And yeah, that's how I would attempt sort of glitching an image and making something look super cool. If you guys have some different methods, the way that you would kind of approach this, I would love to see. I'd also love to see if you guys sort of change up any of the steps that I threw in there, or maybe if you guys have different textures than me, you guys can show me how you applied different glitchy textures in the back. Maybe some static would look super cool, but I can't wait to see. So what I'm going to do real quick is I'm going to go Control S to save. Let me actually group all this stuff. Here, let me actually group all this. Can I save? Let's go File, Save As. There we go. And I'm going to come over here and I'm going to name my piece. I'm going to name this Glitch. And I'm going to go over and put it in the proper thing here. And then I'm going to pull up my Behance and my Discord, and I'm going to upload it where you guys should upload it so that I can take a look at it and the community can take a look at it as well. So let's pull up Discord real quick. I'm going to scroll all the way down here. There are so many amazing pieces in here, by the way. I was so astonished to see all of the awesome stuff that you guys posted over the weekend and everybody kind of playing catch up and putting everything together. I actually saved that as a PSD. Let me save it as a JPEG. Let's see, JPEG, boom, we'll save. Got all my tests in there as well. All right, let's press our little plus button here. Let me navigate to my file. Let me hit glitchy portrait, boom. And there we go, guys. I can't wait to see what you folks do. How big is my Photoshop file in size? Let's come over here and check, because I usually actually work at like 11 by 17. But this one is roughly 7 by 10 inches because I cropped and I used just an image from Adobe Stock that I liked pretty well. Again, I didn't provide the images that I used today because you guys can use anything that you want. You can even use a picture that's not a character. You guys could use you guys could glitch a car. You guys could use the robot images that you used before to do that. Whatever you folks want to do is totally cool. So I'm going to hit OK on this, and then I'm going to right quick, I'm actually going to pull up my Behance here because I want to upload to Behance. I'm going to hit my profile picture, and I'm going to navigate again to my Photoshop DCC project that I've got going. I'm going to hit Edit. And I'm going to scroll down here. If you guys have been participating with me, then you are well on your way to having like a pretty large sort of case study project of this 2 weeks going here. I've got a lot of stuff here in mind, all of the things that we've created thus far, and now I'm going to add my glitchy piece. So right here under my challenge 5, if you folks have set yours up like mine, I'm gonna call this glitchy portrait. Not in caps, and I'm going to spell it right, like so. And then under here, I'm going to write, for now, for a placeholder, I'm going to say, here is my challenge 5 entry. And then I'll come back after the stream and kind of write a little paragraph. As you can see, I did try to put a little more information before all of them, a little explanation of what I'm doing, because that's kind of what people are looking for on Behance, in my opinion. You know, not just the piece that you've created, but also a little spiel about your thoughts, your process, and what you were keeping in mind while creating your project. And then I'm gonna say, I'm gonna upload my media here. And I'm going to go navigate to my glitchy portrait folder, and I'm going to click my glitch piece, and I am going to upload it. I'm going to actually squish that in like so. I'm going to wait for it to do its little loading thing, and then I am going to hit save. Boom. And then if I come over here to my Photoshop DCC, you can see that I've got everything going in here. So that's it for today. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I'm super excited to see what you do. If you'd like to post your piece to the Discord so I can see it, head over to bit.ly/PSDiscord to share everything. This is going to be super, super cool to see what kind of images you guys choose, how crazy you get with your glitches and your wave effects, and I simply can't wait. So thanks for joining me, folks. Stay tuned for an awesome Photoshop challenge segment, or another Photoshop guest and host segment, followed by Melody with the XD Creative Challenge if you folks are interested in that, and then another awesome XD segment after that. All right, guys, I'll see you guys later.